Hi, my name is Grace Moyo, a first-year student pursuing a bachelor's degree in human resource management, and I'll be talking about sex and sexuality. So, sexuality, this is a person's sexual identity, orientation, and experience. So, in human sexuality, there are different components such as sex, gender identity, eroticism, intimacy, pleasure, and reproduction. So, when I talk about sex, this is a medical term used to refer to a certain combination of gonads and chromosomes which make us male or female. When I talk about gender identity, this is a person's deeply felt desire or experience of their own gender. So when I talk about eroticism, this is sexual arousal or an insistent sexual impulse or desire. When I talk about pleasure, this is a happy feeling of enjoyment or satisfaction. So, reproduction, this is when new individuals are produced from their parents, which we call offspring. Intimacy, intimacy, this is closeness between two people who are in a very personal relationship.
Hello everybody, it's your boy Kevin Lenga, aka the Ambassador. So, aligned with what my fellow presenter talked about, I'm going to talk about safe sex. So, what do we mean when we talk about safe sex? These are simply healthy sexual practices that one can indulge themselves in without getting the repercussions. What do I mean by repercussions? We can talk about things like teenage pregnancy, HIV, or STIs. So, first, before we talk about what is safe sex, as adolescents, it's important for us to acknowledge the fact that there is abstinence out there. So, as we say, abstinence is abstinence is simply meaning to avoid or to stay away from sexual activities. Then besides from that, to those of us like me who cannot abstain from sexual activities, we can practice safe sex. So safe sex involves a lot of things. We can talk about ABCD of prevention, where we talk about things like abstinence, being faithful, or condomizing. So simply, these are just simply health practices that we can indulge ourselves into sexual activity without the consequences that come after sex. So being faithful to one sexual partner simply involves having one faithful sexual partner and not multiple sexual partners. This prevents us from spreading the viruses such as HIV and other STIs. Then besides from that, we can talk about things like condomizing. Under condomizing, we can discover to say that is one of the various methods of prevention that we have. So condomizing simply refers to using a condom as you are engaging yourself into sexual activities. Then besides from that, ladies and gentlemen, as an individual, it is important for us to know our HIV status. So aligning with safe sex practices, it is important for you and me to know the HIV status of not only yourself, but also for your sexual partners. So I think this is what I can present to you about safe sex. As we pass it on to my fellow presenter, who will talk about safe sex.
Hello there, I'm Patience Kasumba, a student nutritionist right here at Chalimbana University, and I'm going to tell you about unsafe sex practices or unsafe sex behaviors. So one of the unsafe sex behaviors that we can talk about is practicing anal sex, having sex from the anus. That is very unsafe and it can lead to fistula. So those of us that do not understand what fistula is, it is the breaking of the lining that is between the vagina and the rectum. It will break when you are having anal sex, meaning your poop and your urine will be mixed when you want to do business. I also talk about oral sex. So oral sex is another unsafe way of practicing sexual intercourse. Having sex from the mouth, those of you who give your boyfriend's head or giving your girlfriend's head, that is very unsafe. You can contract the STIs and many other bad things. I also talk about having sex without a condom. You know you are not married, you are not in a marriage setup, but you want to be having unprotected sex. You are just a student, you want to be having unprotected sex. You end up with STIs, you end up with unwanted pregnancies. Another form of unsafe sex practices is having multiple sexual partners. Today you are sleeping with John, tomorrow you are sleeping with Samuel, the other day you are sleeping with David. We are emphasizing those are unsafe sexual practices. Please do not do that. And also those of you who do threesome, I'm sure you understand what a threesome is, whereby 3 people are having sex. It can be a man with 2 ladies or one lady with one man. I mean, one lady with 2 men having sexual intercourse. So those practices are very unsafe and they will lead you into problems. We end here. Thank you.